What's going on, guys? This is BestDibsNA, and I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about the jungle. So I am going to go Kel and start with Life 2 pot. I am running the Brawler loadout, which gives you health and resist based off of enemy shapers in your area, which I think is sort of a normal Kel loadout. Hard invades do happen frequently, so you'll want to watch from this bush and down here this bush. As well, Moy can slip over the wall in the gap. Note that this is a custom game, so I don't actually have to worry about being invaded on. And I did just want to take a minute to talk about why I did choose Kel for this demonstration, and that's because he has no sustain built into his kit, and he's not the fastest jungle clear in the game. So I think he makes for a good baseline for junglers for just showing potential of tricks and what you can do with the jungle without having to have a very specialty kit. Little camps spawn at 150, buff camps at 2 minutes, money pigs at 4 minutes, so if you've got somebody with you, like I do here, you're going to want to start with a small camp at 150. So I normally ping out the camp like I'm doing here, so my teammate knows where I'm starting. If you do have two teammates, it's advisable for starting at the little Ugger camp before doing armor buff, but since I'm starting haste, only one person is fine. Now, something important to note is you don't have to worry about splitting XP if you've only got one person leashing with you, because you can actually both split small camp and the buff camp you do, and you'll both ding 2, or you can have whoever's helping you leash give you all the XP, and that's going to help get you out in jungle, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and take Vanquish and just slap these shrooms a bit. And have Cerulean stay in range for all this. This isn't the best clear. I mean, we could have done this a little faster, and of course you can always have physical range carries help. So starting haste buff, I'm going to go ahead and do a Vanquish on this one, as in not using my Vanquish spell, which makes for a little bit of a slower kill, but it's fine because we're going to be giving whoever would be laning more solo XP on that first wave, and Cerulean here is still going to get 2, I'm still going to get 2. And I've got Vanquish, which is going to allow me to go down and do the buff by myself. So that's a fun technique for just getting 2, having Vanquish, and helping everybody on your team get a little ahead. So I'll ping Cerulean off, walk up here onto this power buff, and start it. And that's about that for this clip. This is just sort of a traditional one guy helps you, you both ding 2, and then you go do another camp. So starting another game, this time I'm going to go ahead and start with 7 health pots because I have gone with the Predator role and Brawler loadout again, which gives me a bit of a different strategy. So we're going to go ahead and head over to the Armor or Ugger camp, and since there's only 2 of us and it would take us a while to clear that small Ugger camp just due to how tank they are, we're just going to do the big camp, and I'm going to take all of the XP and Vim on that, and just have Desecrator help switch tank with me a bit, since neither of us will take any damage from it in the end. It won't hurt his laning experience, and it will help me have a better jungling experience, which is pretty great for the team. So I do go ahead and ward that bush, and normally sit up here so I can watch for the cross and make sure I'm not getting invaded or having anyone from the enemy team come over and ward my armor camp, which helps me know that I'm not getting invaded on. Predator jungle isn't something that you often see explored by other players, so not too much is known about it, but it is quite effective. So I do go the 7 health pot start on Kel because he doesn't have that built-in sustain, and if you just go Life 2 pot or Hunger 2 pot, Resilience 3 pot, you're not really going to have enough to make it through the jungle doing exclusively big camps. And that's another point that I wanted to talk about, is there's a lot of people that will clear the haste buff and then spend the next couple minutes clearing all of the small shroom camps, which isn't ideal because a lot of enemy players will be invading your buffs and start invading your buffs more and more. So you're going to want your team to ward those, look out for those early invades so you've got control of your buffs. So the faster you can take yours, then you start taking control of money pigs, and that puts you in a position where you're ahead as a jungler and you've got all 3 buffs. You've got strong gank potential and strong potential for early parasites, which is really influential to your team and the game. So with the big Ugger here spawning, I let Desecrator tank it here for a bit, and you can see he's not taking much damage. And this really works well with any melee bruiser. Cerulean works great, but I can go ahead and swap onto it. So even though we both got chunked, for him maybe a quarter of his health, me losing a third, I've got all these health pots that I'll be able to pop after I take this buff. As you can see, he's walked away, so by taking all of that, I'm just going to go ahead and straight ding into 2. I didn't even have to do a little camp and just potting up. I'm going to walk straight to haste. I'm not going to spend any time doing small shrooms, any of that. It's just my focus as Predator Jungle to get as many buffs as I can, and while holding all 3 of those buffs, getting as many kills as I can, and that's what's going to help snowball me ahead. And this is going to work really well if you know where a weak lane is and what you can take advantage of. Obviously against really balanced teams and people that are playing cautiously, it's not going to work as well. So if you know your limits on your character, you'll have pretty good success doing this. Now, I should Vanquish here, or I should have, but I didn't, mostly to show that you can easily get by even without sustain as Predator Jungle. I think it's a misconception that you need the Hunter loadout to get that health back to stay in the jungle and do jungle camps, but I could have vanquished that second buff, had it up by Money Pigs at 4 minutes, and that would have been fine. You could even start with a couple less health pots. I just like to be safe about it in case I get into a skirmish or see a good gank opportunity early. So with Money Pig spawning at the 4-minute mark, now it's too late for me to vanquish this power buff. So I'm just going to go ahead and clear it with ease. I've got haste and armor, so tanky, attacking fast, short cooldowns. And now it's 10 seconds till Money Pig spawn, so I can just cruise across. Now this is where you would have to be careful about an enemy jungler coming down and trying to do their Money Pigs. I don't normally see lanes contest or ward Money Pigs, so it's a pretty safe objective, but you might want to throw your ward up a bit towards their Money Pigs, just so you know if they're coming, and you can call your lane for help before their lane can come help you. So I've just done all 3 of the buffs with help from 1 laner, and I've done Money Pigs, all off 1 Vanquish, just health pots alone, and my sustain is fine. So if you're feeling risky and you've got good ward positioning and this lane's doing well, some of the junglers that spend a lot of time doing small camps won't even have come to their armor buff yet. And since you have all 3 buffs, you're going to have a pretty good time just doing this by yourself. And since I would have smited haste buff ordinarily, your health would be higher here in this situation. It shouldn't get this low. And you might even have a quarter, and you could pot up maybe to about a third, and you probably want to go B at this point. And that's how you jungle as a Predator. For more guides and info, check out moba-champion.com, and thanks for watching.